Hey y'all, and welcome back to another cooking video. Finally, I'm back. I can taste again and things are just settling down back to normal. So I'm so excited to be back with some more recipes for y'all. So I hope you enjoy these 3 easy dinner budget-friendly recipes, and let's get on into the rest of the video.
My heart so pure I had no fear, and those were the years that I hold so dear.
Okay, so first up is this crock-pot potato soup, and this is just kind of like a loaded baked potato soup, but it's super easy. Not a lot of ingredients and just quick to throw together. So starting off, I peeled and I'm going to dice up pretty small about 7 russet potatoes, and this was about 2 pounds of russet potatoes. And I will have this recipe linked below. I found it on Pinterest, and just if you want to make this yourself or whatever, but this is super cheap. Potatoes are super cheap, and you can even leave out the bacon and cheese if you want to make it even cheaper. But I really think that the bacon and cheese added a lot of flavor, so I would obviously it's going to be better with those. Or if you want to leave out the bacon and make it vegetarian, just however you want to do it. This soup was really good. It had a lot of flavor. But I'm just going to dice up my 2 pounds of potatoes and then dump them straight into the crock pot. And then I'm going to add in a diced onion. And also, if you want, you can saute this onion and it adds a really good flavor, but I just didn't like it. Also going to add in some garlic, and then I added chicken bouillon and then 4 cups of water, but you can definitely do chicken broth or vegetable broth or whatever you have on hand. And then I'm just going to give that a stir and cook it on the low for about 6 or 7 hours. Okay, and then about an hour from the soup being done, I'm going to melt down 4 tablespoons of butter and then add about 2 or 3 tablespoons of flour to that. I'm just going to make a roux. This is what's going to thicken the soup up some. You just want to stir that around until all the flour is incorporated, making sure there's no lumps and everything is just mixed together and smooth. And then you're going to let this flour mixture cook for a few minutes just to get all of the raw flour taste out. Once your roux has cooked down enough, you're going to add in 2 tablespoons of milk very, very slowly. I like to add about 1/4 to 1/2 cup of liquid at a time. If you add it all in together, your milk can curdle and your mixture will get super lumpy, and it's just not the vibe. So add it in very slowly, stirring continuously. You want to keep it moving so everything gets mixed together and nothing burns. Once everything is mixed together and it's had a chance to thicken a little bit, you're going to go ahead and add it into your soup. Don't worry if it's a little bit runny, it will still thicken up in the hot soup. But I'm going to stir everything together, and then I'm going to take in my immersion blender and just kind of puree some of the potatoes so there's no huge chunks or anything. I still did want a little bit of chunky potatoes, but overall I wanted everything kind of smooth. And this also is going to thicken the soup very well and make it a nice creamy texture. Also, about now, I'm going to add in about 1 cup of cheddar cheese. You can do more or less, or you can do a different kind of cheese if you want. But I did want to top my bowl with some more. I put in some bacon that I cooked, and then a little bit more cheese, and then a little bit of Greek yogurt. And I served it with some toasted sourdough bread in the pan that I cooked the bacon in. This was super delicious, super easy, and very cheap to make. Okay, up next is this shepherd's pie, and this is just kind of like a cheater, easy way to make shepherd's pie, or cottage pie as it's more traditionally known. but I'm just going to brown my vegetables. I have a chopped up onion and a little bit of garlic, but I'm going to saute my onion down first. Once my onion has a little bit of color on it and has sweated down some, I'm going to go ahead and add my pound of meat. And I'm just going to season that with a little salt and pepper. And then I did put some thyme in there. I don't think I showed that. But I'm just going to mash my meat up with my little chopper here. I'll have this handy little gadget linked down below. This is one of the best tools in the kitchen, in my opinion. It just makes diced meat and shredding chicken so much easier. But then I'm going to add in my garlic and let that cook a little more until the meat is all the way cooked through. And then I'm going to add in about a 1/4 cup of flour. And again, this is just kind of a roux, but the flour takes on the flavor of the vegetables and meat that you're cooking. So again, like the roux before, the objective here is to cook out the raw flour taste, and you just want to keep it moving so it doesn't burn and make sure everything is incorporated nice and well. So after about 3 to 5 minutes of cooking the flour, I'm going to go ahead and add in some beef flavor. You can skip this step if you're using beef bouillon, but I really wanted the flavor to come through in the meat. At this point, I'm also going to add in about 5 teaspoons of tomato sauce. You can use tomato paste, just a little less, like 1 to 2 teaspoons versus the 5, because it's a lot more condensed. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in about a cup of water and just stir everything together. Then I'm going to add in about 16 ounces of mixed vegetables and a few dashes of Worcestershire. And I'm just going to stir that together and let it simmer for just a little bit, not too long. It's going to go in the oven, but I did want the vegetables to kind of thaw and all the flavors to kind of meld together. Then I'm going to spray a 9x13 dish and then transfer my meat mixture over into that and spread everything out. Then I'm going to make my instant mashed potatoes just per the package directions and then spread those evenly over the top. You can also add a layer of cheddar cheese underneath the potatoes or on top if you want to, and that adds a really nice flavor. But again, I was trying to just use what I had and not go to the store and spend any extra money. So I did not use cheese on this, and actually it was really, really good. The instant mashed potatoes are not our favorite, but I found if you add a little bit of butter and some milk to it, that they're really not as bad. And in something like this where there's a lot of other flavors, it's definitely less noticeable that they're prepackaged. I really don't care for them on their own. But right here, I'm just taking a fork and kind of making a little bit of design, some peaks and valleys. And this is just going to let the potatoes crisp up very nicely and get some very crispy edges on the top like this. And then you're just going to throw it in the 350-degree oven for about 20 to 30 minutes. And then I did turn the broiler on just a little bit to get those potatoes nice and crispy. And this is how it turns out. It's so good. Shepherd's pie is one of our family favorites. And finally, we have this sort of chicken and dumpling type thing. I'd never made dumplings this way, but it actually turned out really, really good. And it was a lot easier than rolling out the dumplings. But I'm just going to, again, start with a roux, flour, and butter. I'm using equal parts flour and butter. It was about 4 tablespoons of each. Going to mix all that together until everything is nice and combined. And then I'm just going to keep stirring, making sure my mixture does not burn. And again, just cooking out the raw flour taste like every other dish that I have made so far in this video. So earlier in the day in the Instant Pot, I had cooked 2 chicken breasts, which equaled about 2 pounds of chicken. And I put 4 cups of chicken broth and about 2 tablespoons of butter in the Instant Pot. And then I just added my chicken, cooked that until the chicken was done. And then I let the Instant Pot naturally shredded the chicken. And this stock that I'm using is the liquid from cooking that chicken. So it was the chicken broth, but it also has the added chicken breast flavor in it too. But you can just use regular chicken broth if that's what you have, or if you cook a whole chicken, however you want to get your chicken. And then for the dumplings, I'm using Bisquick. I used about a 1-to-1 ratio, and then I'm literally just taking teaspoonfuls of this mixture and dropping it in. You don't want to make them too big because they do swell quite a bit, and you don't want like huge biscuit, or maybe you do if that's your thing, but just be aware that these do swell. And I dropped in about 5 or so at a time, and then just gave it a stir, and then continued to drop them in until I had used all my mixture and my pot was pretty full. And I just let those go for about 5 or 10 minutes just to make sure everything was cooked. And then I just added my chicken back to this pot and then put a lid on it and let it simmer for about 15 or 20 minutes. And that was it. It was super easy.
Just the two of us, but I know I have to try to let her go, because she won't be mine.
And this is the final product. Like I said, it was super easy and very delicious, very cost effective too, and even my 6-year-old loved it. But thank y'all so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it and got some good cheap meal inspiration. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up. I'm so happy you're here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.